you're going to hear on your regular audio. Yeah, it's just gibberish. It's creepy. It's creepy gibberish. But I use both of those spirit boxes at the same time. So when we get to one of our locations, I'll play the EVP I caught a few weeks ago. It's pretty awesome. And it was actually 3 pieces that actually work together. Your spirit box told me one thing, then I heard this, and then the digital word list gave me another phrase, and it was one long sentence. And it made complete sense, and I'll show you guys that later. So, we started here for a reason. I'm going to go through this story quick, because I feel like I'm screaming. This place used to be called Big John's Tavern. Big John played for the 1947 New York Giants, football player. He used to sit in the back of the bar and nod off to the bartender if the cadets coming over from the Citadel were of age or not. So, we didn't cover COVID stuff. Let me finish the story and we'll cover that. So, anyway, two guys come in one night, they're not of age. John tells the bartender, cut them off. They leave pissed off. They come back the next night, they try to take the cash register from the front. Well, Big John got in a wrestling match with one, shots were fired, people got hurt. The bullet hole is still here. I tell you guys this story because there's no death out of that story. It's the bullet hole that haunts the place. It holds on to the paranormal activity. It is said when people sit in the front of this bar, they get a little dizzy, queasy, lightheaded, headaches, those kind of things. I bring this up because I don't know how paranormal activity is going to affect any of you. If any of you are not feeling well, I need to know. Like, it's a big deal. So, I know how it's going to affect me. I'm good. You guys, the first time somebody actually dropped and passed out from a nice cool night like this, I was in CPR class the next day. I don't say this stuff to scare you guys, I say it out of seriousness. So speak up for somebody in your party if they're not doing well. Can you guys make that promise? Thanks, because you're going to do it anyway. It's that big of a deal. So, the other story that comes out of here is we had a big earthquake here in 1868. It's a big one because Charleston doesn't get earthquakes. So, a piece of the mantling above your heads actually wraps around the front of the building. A piece of it fell, struck somebody in the head and killed them. There goes the said to be seen here on East Bay. I don't have proof of that, but the previous owner of this bar does. So I took his word for it. I told that story just so there's another little bit of a ghost story instead of me telling you guys not to be sick. So, you guys ready to go ghost hunting? I need to stop screaming. Like, this is horrible. I'm not this guy, I promise. You'll see that throughout the night. All right, let's head this way. Whispering. I heard whispering back there. We share everything. Stories in the cemetery. It's relevant.
Yeah. I'm so scared that you're not going to do it right.
Alright. Hey, I don't have to scream. This is awesome. I didn't cover COVID crap. I'm so sorry. I hate COVID. It's not my friend. Oh, look at
I'm so sorry. I did not mean to do that.
Okay. So, masks. I asked you all to bring them. Cops are fining people $100 for not having masks on. So there's a couple loopholes. Drinking, smoking, eating outside. You'll see me vape several times where I have masks in hand. I have a difficult time with masks. I will mask up if I have to get close to you based on your device. So, I have epilepsy, so no more flashing flashy blinking lights. You're fine. That's why it makes it so difficult. So again, some areas I'll say we're cutting through other tours, mask up for me. Popular areas, we'll mask up. All of your devices you're already holding. Another part of that, why I was late, was because I was cleaning them with disinfectant. So if they smell like Lysol, that's the reason why. I do have extra masks in case anybody needs one. Just at least carry around with them so you're not getting yourself in trouble. What else? I have hand sanitizer, and I think that about covers COVID. You guys good with that? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. I should actually get the mask out since I was just talking about it. So, here's what's going on here. There's actually a restaurant right over there called Crew Cafe. They claim to have a haunting. It's a suicide, according to them. However, that used to be a slave home. I can't find any titles or deeds or anything related to that plat of land. I don't even know, because that's a 2-story building. That's not the original slave home, so I don't know if it's an addition, reconstruct. I have no idea. So I probably will not do that investigation for the podcast because I can't verify it. If that kind of gives you the proof and truth that I'm actually after. For you history buffs, right past Brew Cafe is a stop sign. So is anybody from here? Any locals? No? Okay. So I can lie to you guys all night? That's cool. So Charleston used to be much skinnier. So the peninsula, if you can think of it, everything on the outskirts of the peninsula is man-made junk, right? So Revolutionary War, water that way would have been much closer. They shot a cannonball, it landed right at the stop sign. There's no deaths, no tragedies, no paranormal activity, but it was a neighborhood. So it kind of gives you a lot of the time periods that we're going to be talking about tonight is during the Revolutionary times. So where are we now? We're at the Red Barn lot. So I don't normally come to this side, so sorry if I'm presenting like kind of white. But the horse, this is where they keep the horses for your carriage rides. The horses are still in. So those of you with lasers, they need to absolutely stay off this building. You will spook the ponies and they'll kick the wall and scare the shit out of all of us. None of us really want that. So, plus I'm kind of friends with these folks. There's not many tour guide friends that I have here in town. None of them like me. So, I take all their business. I want you to also too, did you guys notice that there's only 10 people here? That's my cap. They raised our COVID restrictions to go back up to 20 and I won't do it. Because you guys are going to have one-on-one time with me throughout this entire tour. And with 20 people, there's no way I could do that. Especially, I don't have 20 tools. I gotta go scavenge up my 10th tool from the lady along our tour. She told me she's gonna meet me halfway. So anyway, this is the same Red Barn where they kept the horses that delivered the milk to Charleston. So if that kind of dates it for you, we're talking 1860s to 1920s. So let's talk about spirit boxes, and with each place, again, practice area is what this one is. That's all the history I have of this joint. That's it. So the place is haunted. We could get teammates from Big John. We could get stable boys that died here. I don't know. It's different every single night. I can't. Whatever it is, it happens. I can't guarantee it. Let's talk about those spirit boxes for a second. You guys are super quiet. You're all freaking me out. You know that, right? So maybe I talk too much. You guys gotta shut me up. Spirit boxes. Raise your hands. Where are you at? Okay, so you got one. Okay. So spirit boxes. We're going to ask your shows are gonna. Why'd you kill so and so and go so riled up? That's not how this works. They're after commercial ratings. We're going to start with something simple. We all know this barn is red. So start off with, what color is the barn? Or something as simple as something you know. How many people are with us? What color is my shirt? As long as it's solid color. Start off with something that's non-yes or no questions. Why do we do that? Because S and O are two of the most common sounds in phonetic English language. If you say, is somebody here? And they say houses, he thinks he heard yes. We don't want that either. That's why we stay away from yes or no questions. And also, is somebody here and they say no, I'm pretty sure they're still here. So they said no. So we don't want those kind of yes or no questions. We just stay away from them altogether. Our next location will be a little harder. I'm going to give you questions to ask and things to suggest, but I won't give you what those answers are to see how much actual evidence you actually come up with, and we'll verify. You're not going to keep repeating that question right after another. You're going to ask it once, listen for about 30 seconds or so, ask it again, maybe rephrase it. The person, if they're here, where's our EMF? Is that doing anything?
Is this the EMF?
Yes. It's still on green? Okay. Again, sometimes it starts here, sometimes it waits till it leaves.
This one's on.
Well, if it starts going crazy, let me know.
Okay.
No. That person's here, especially if we got EMF going. Maybe move on to another question. Talk to them like they're a person, because they once were. Okay? They're not inside your box either. You don't need to say, is somebody here? You know, they're not inside your box. It's an open conversation. Thermal imaging, you're really going to make about 2 laps of this place. I'm going to work with you guys a little bit to show you the different temperatures and how they work. You have a ton of different materials in here. You're going to learn a lot about thermal imaging. Metal, asphalt, trees, bricks, foliage, all kinds of stuff. I really want you to get the gist of how that device works. Also keep in mind that's going to record your audio, so we're going to hear your entire conversation. So whatever you two are doing, we're going to know.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, because you're supposed to hang out with him and kind of verify what's
Gotcha.
going on. You two are going to be the ones I join up with first. You guys have lasers, correct? All right, so those devices are not twirly and flash all over. They're literally meant to be set in a room and left alone with a camera. So the more still you are, the better off, easier you're going to probably see something come through it. Again, I haven't seen something come through red yet, but I've definitely seen some greens. Whereas my photographer, you're going to be taking pictures through their lasers. We want to see what they miss. So take as many as you want around them. But I'm sure we're not going to identify them by their shoes. They don't really care. So again, take as many pictures as you can there. So spirit boxes, if you're going to be near because the horses are really where those squares are down there. They're in the stables. So if you're going to be near there, just keep it at an audible level. Kind of cup your speaker like I told you. This is a time where you guys can go ahead, spirit box up, thermal imaging. We're going to walk around, and then lasers and you guys kind of hang out together, so that way you guys can see where the hot spots are. But you're going to basically lead the way. I'm sorry, your name again? Ansley. I'll get it, I promise. So Ansley, you're going to kind of lead the way. When that thing starts going crazy, you guys should have your lasers out near her, and he's taking pictures.
What's considered crazy?
Crazy is you can't make a rhythm out of it.
Okay.
So I just saw some yellow, but then it stopped. That to me is crazy, because there's no rhythm. It only went up once and stopped. So something's already starting to hang out with us. So the way that guy works, for example, is there's an electrical box over here. If you were getting yellow over here, you should have red when you're next to the box, because it's going to emanate and get weaker. It's almost like a force field. Okay, so this is a hot spot. You're walking on a sewer, so you shouldn't have anything. Honestly, it shouldn't be measuring anything in this air. I did get the word messed up. All right, so let's get these two groups walking around. You guys try to find and get those questions. What's inside the barn? What color's the barn? What color's my shirt? Tell me what you guys hear. I want to work with thermal imaging first. I always try to do that one because it's more complicated. So again, before a view, let's go this way, guys. So again, you want to get us a nice video all night. So try not to get your cameras actually on this end. Oh. Let's get away from the cars. So with this camera, you're going to be able to see, it doesn't see in 3D the way we do. So you guys all have cool masks. Let me mask it for you. So it doesn't see in 3D. So what it's going to actually do is it is going to see temperatures only. So it also cannot see through glass. So you're not going to be able to like look inside buildings or do anything like that. It's literally only looking at temperature. To help you see in 3D, it may put white outlines where it thinks an object is. So if we get something blue that goes across like that, obviously it's going to try to put a white outline around it. Okay? Now the camera technology is not our cell phones, so if you move it too fast, it will pixelate. You will see it calibrate and kind of pause for a split second. It's supposed to do that.
Okay.
So you're really looking for those blue and black spots to, I have no idea what the hell that white spot was there a second ago. But you really want those blue and black spots to start moving on their own. So let's actually turn and look at these bricks for a second. So go ahead and shoot your gun on the bricks. What temperature do you have?
79.1.
79. You should say about 85. Okay, so it's about 5 to 6 degrees difference. They're not calibrated together. So yours is always going to be about 5 degrees off. You want to kind of help him with, all of the different temperatures. So that way he can see what's actually happening around him. He's going to be staring at that screen, but he also needs to be kind of like, oh, what's that? That's the tree. That's the car. That's the yellow pole.
Okay.
You really need to kind of keep your vision back and forth on that. So does that help with the glasses not fogging?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Because I've tried a million
Pretty
things.
good.
I wear glasses
Mine
too.
is not very good. It just has the nose wire.
I have the nose wire. It's my mother-in-law makes all my ghosty stuffs for me, so I got a million of them. But yeah, you guys are basically going to make some laps, test out to different places, but keep your red dot out of the pony house for me.
Gotcha.
Again, they'll get scared from that one red dot on the ceiling.
Yeah, no, though.
All right, so let me see what's going on here with you guys.
Can we go this way? Wait, you know what I mean, though.
What?
We're doing this sidewalk right now.
Oh.
Yeah, we have one of those at work.
Yeah, this is the thermometer they take our temperature with. I mean the vape. Oh my god, good as it.
Yeah, Virginia. It's around here somewhere.
It's in this
Do you like
pocket.
to search?
No, you have to keep it straight up.
You have to keep it straight
Okay, I'll keep it straight up.
up. You got me in.
I did not. Okay, who's the techie guy? You think Center or Jay, you want to raise their hand? No.
Turkey guy.
No.
Turkey guy. That thing is so fucking loud. There's no horses in there. Start banging on it.
Oh my god. I can't turn it that way.
Right.
I'm gonna be caught. Oh my god.
What?
She pointed her, Sorry, hold on. She pointed her laser up on accident.
Oh, she
Did you not see that? She like lifted it up and she was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. He's like,
is it the green or the red one?
it was the green one. It was literally, she's showing it, like she did it up in his face and it's like,
Jesus. Yeah. I saw that. Yeah, see the camera's right here.
oh, okay.
How are you hitting it?
I just put it, I bullet to my mouth. We do this every day at work. Every single day at work.
Raining it.
I wash my mask.
What is that white stuff there?
74 degree.
Do you see this? Look.
Why?
See this white thing right here?
Interesting. He said blue or
Don't
black.
you see this?
Can I point it that way? I'm too scared.
What?
Can we get closer to it? That's where they are. I'm sure it's over there. Huh? It's 69 degrees right here.
That's terrifying. That's terrifying.
Seeing me?
Yes, look. Look at me.
Oh my god, that's so scary.
Terrifying.
He'd literally be like, what fucking doors?
What is this white stuff? Look.
Where? Where's that? Is it 63, 66?
Don't you see the outlines of those windows and stuff?
Yeah. What's your temperature say? How low is it supposed to be? There'd be a ghost. What?
Is it recording?
Yes, it's the square still. We can ask him, but it's still the square. It's just the time thing went away. I don't know. Do you want to go over and ask him? Where is he?
Look at that.
Is he still with our friends?
Holy shit. I have a fat fucking fever. So let's go see his friends for a sec.
No, everyone's hitting our bidding.
I know.
I don't know what to do.
Let's see. I want to see.
Dude, is it even on?
Huh?
Is it on?
Do you think?
I don't know.
You didn't tell me. I haven't clicked anything.
I know. Okay, but when you click the circle, it's not just the circle.
So, should I ask him then?
Where is
He's right here. He's been here the whole time.
I didn't know that. That's horrifying.
Oh, I tried to tell you that.
I didn't get what you were saying.
Is it still recording? I just want to make sure.
Yep, you're good.
Okay.
See the square over here?
Yeah, as
It
long
would-
as it's square.
As long as it's
Okay.
square, you're fine.
Okay.
Don't pay attention to the timer, because if you accidentally flipped it, it will
Yeah.
stop and pause.
Okay,
As long as
that's
that
what I was
square is
wondering.
on, we're good.
I got you.
I have another question.
Yes.
How low is it going to be where it's like important?
10 degrees colder than what he's actually showing. So
Okay.
his variation in color is going to start literally with about 2 degrees. So it'll be like orange, then red, you know, so forth and so on to drop in temperature, and then it switches over to blue after red. So once you start seeing blue, that's usually about 4 to 5 degrees difference. Darker blue is another 3 degrees. So now we're at 8 degrees difference. You see where that goes. It kind of keeps growing. So his hand, it's set to white is hot. So it goes from red to orange to yellow, white. White is the hottest thing. So I will also tell you, you might actually catch thermodynamics in reverse. So you can't create or destroy temperature. It balances. So if you see something growing in heat on the screen, then that means there's a cold spot decreasing in temperature. If because it has to bounce. I don't want you to move that camera away from something growing in heat very rapidly. That's still enough proof that the paranormal exists because something has to be drawing that energy to be able to change that fluctuation. I've seen it at least twice in the year and a half I've been doing this. It's really cool to see, actually.
Okay, cool. Got it.
So I'm actually going to gather everybody up. Actually, we'll just keep down here.
No, I think I know what he has. I bet one of the ghost stories.
Someone's named Glenn. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Everyone old in the world has,
I didn't think
Whatever.
about that. That's pretty good.
Alright. Anything weird out of the lasers? Still getting craziness out of that guy? Yeah. Okay, take it. Again, I've listened to those spirit boxes closely. Why don't you guys tell us what you heard on your spirit box in the corner?
We've heard some lady named Susie.
They heard the name twice. So usually when things come up twice, it usually means something.
And then we asked her how many, when she died, she said 10.
10.
And we asked how old was your baby? Cause,
Yeah, I gave them a story of a
and-
cemetery that has a...
and we heard still.
Oh,
still.
as in stillborn. Because she died 10 days after her stillborn child.
Her little machine, she's going crazy.
Yeah. Did you guys hear anything else? Alright, why don't you tell us what you guys heard, what you guys told me.
I asked what was in the building and it said animals.
So again, it wasn't horses, it's animals. Okay? Alright, you guys want to go learn some real history now? We all have a gist of what our devices do? You're going to be my science geek of the night, so I gave you a ton of data in a short amount of time. So hopefully he retains it. So we're going to actually head up this way. We're going to learn quite a bit of cool stuff. I already got some.
I wonder if it's my season.
Huh?
It's not, but...
Why not?
What's Gigi's real name?
Huh?
What's Gigi's real name?
Bella.
Belle. Okay. Because Susan's my mom's mom. And so the other sister. I'm scared, but she's 10. So. But her birthday was August 10th. So.
August 10th. August 10th.
Okay, so let's see if I want to talk. Just look at my back. You've got to hold that thing up. He's scared.
What do you mean?
He's getting
Oh my gosh.
That won't be the only guy.
It's blinking a lot.
Nice.
What does that mean?
It's like 80
We're going to
degrees.
go over what that means. Let's get you guys a little further in. That's the only way in and out of this line. I just don't want anybody becoming a ghost line. So,
Do you have
I'm
it
in the business of finding them, not making them. So,
Did you have it answer?
this is the home
Yeah,
of Charles and
sure.
Eliza Pinckney. Their house, their mansion, was in the front. Their garden was lined up with that first tree, line going out here to the outside, and we're standing where the slave homes would have been. So that kind of gives you the layout of the land. So who were Eliza and Charles? They had a son named Charles, so that was number 2. And they had a nephew named Charles, that was number 3. The son and the nephew were signers of our Constitution. It's a pretty big deal for Charleston. So, that being said, I hate politics. It's 2020. It's definitely a crappy political year. I don't care who you are. So we're going to move on to Eliza. So Eliza married Charles so that she could stay here in the United States. Her dad thought he was dying and he wanted all of his kids home, and she didn't want to go. So she got married and became a citizen, stayed. Dad got better. He started sending her gifts over from England. I'm going to play an EVP for you after I tell the gist of the story. That makes perfect sense. One of those gifts that he sent over was the plant indigo. None of you are from here, but you've been driving around, you've seen the word indigo a few times. Indigo actually has a very deep culture in our Gullah history here, but Eliza's the one that made it profitable and a huge cash crop for Charleston. So what the hell is indigo? Anybody know?
Jeans.
Right, it makes blue dye for our blue jeans. We still use it today. You're wearing it right now. And the funny thing is as we were walking over here, I got the word blue. So again, I'm already starting to get words preempted for our location. I can't make this stuff up. So, a couple weird things about Eliza. Well, the other thing you should know about her indigo crops is that it basically saved Charleston after our rice plantations went downhill. She saved Charleston and pretty much all of the colonies. So she was the businesswoman that sold it overseas in the 1700s. where there was no such thing as a businesswoman. So that kind of tells you how prominent that she was for us. Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles. Way to go, Chuck. You screwed that one up. There was a big age gap between them, but Eliza, the second wife, goes by her maiden name, as does the first, so it's Eliza blank Pinkney. Okay, so try to find out on your spirit boxes what the maiden name was, not the middle name, the maiden name. They had 4 kids. You already know one was named Charles. They only had one daughter. Try to find out what the daughter's name is. Try to ask what happened to the mansion. You can ask anything about Eliza's death. She's pretty open about it. Where did she die? How old was she? What did she die from? And where is she buried? Any of those things are great questions. There was one more. I actually, while you guys were on your spirit box sessions, I'm off doing my own little thing trying to get a hold of Charles. Charles likes to come through for me too. So I'm actually going to show you guys. So let's do the EVP first, because that one's super interesting. I just told you Eliza is from England, and an EVP that I got a few weeks ago on the reverse spirit box. So I'm going to go around and play it for each of you. I'll be hopeful if there was volume, right? Let me shut the other one off real quick. Play it again. Breakfast. You guys catch it? 5 seconds. Red Spirit Box told me, they have it, I'll fix you, baked beans breakfast, and then the word tea showed up on the list, all within 2 minutes of each other. I'll fix you, baked beans breakfast, and tea. That would have been an English breakfast in the UK in the 1700s. Made complete sense when I looked at your data as a collective the next morning. Just last week, I know there's a lot of stuff here I like to show you guys. So I caught 2 shadow people in that corner. I was called up there because somebody said, I just saw a shadow come by and it didn't make any sense. So the video I'm going to show you guys is literally 2 people, I think, coming up this way, and then 2 ghosts go that way. The 2 people living are going to be orange and yellow. The 2 dead people will be black in color. So you'll see 2 orange people, just their heads go above the wall. There they come. There they are. You see them? Okay, so we're going to fast forward a few seconds. You're going to see 2 black heads go by. Did you see that? Did you see it, Cody? So Cody is coming a believer, I'm hoping. 2 orange people. You're going to come by the head wall. Do you see them? Okay. Then there's going to be 2 black heads that come up, because that's the coldest temperature we have. Right there.
Interesting.
Good job. Alright. Orange people coming up above that wall right there. There they are, walking by. We're going to fast forward. 2 black heads coming up above the same wall. Right there. Pretty crazy, right?
Yeah. Do you see my lights?
Sorry, what does temperature say?
Again, if I had a grand finale, guys, this would be it. So, you guys have your spirit box questions that you can ask. I'm going to be doing my own thing and kind of keeping an eye on everybody. Lasers, kind of keep them below the wall. The light is a little weak tonight. There's a light that usually blinks. I don't say usually, I would say 90% of the time it's blinking on the back of that restaurant over there. Now, when it is blinking, it's usually in sync with Ainsley's EMF meter. But it's pretty weak tonight, so I'll be interested to see what we actually capture here, because normally that kind of emanates like, hey, this is all the energy that's here and it's affecting that light over there. So we're going to see what we capture and kind of go our own ways, but we're going to stay within the lot, of course. Lasers and PARs are never a good idea. just so you guys know. And pictures of vehicles' license plates are never a good idea. So people get really freaked out when they see cameras when in this lot. So you guys go ahead and start your spirit box. Let's do spirit box up. Go your separate ways so I can see where you guys are going to go, because I know the hot spot here.
I think he's mad that I was talking when we first started. I'm just trying to get ready.
Oh shoot!
What is your temperature sign?
Staring up in the car.
No, you have to tell me what the number is.
I'm just looking around.
But that's what my job is, to compare the number.
Okay, 86 on the wall.
Okay, well it's 71 over here, so... Not 79, but it's 71 over here. If it's over 10, that means it's weird.
Yeah, that's where it's mad cold.
What?
Better keep it moving. You know all your little beans? Let's go over here to this thing.
Let's look at the ground. Oh my god, that scared me. Holy shit, I don't like that.
Go down here.
That scared me so bad.
You wanna go over there?
Yeah.
Huh.
No, I don't want to. We're not thinking he's gonna spread out.
Okay.
Okay, but just look. It's not like a
I'm not leaving the lot. Let me get the angle.
Where do you want me to point at?
Do what?
What?
Do what?
Where do you want me to point?
Did you just point up at the thing?
No? There.
Oh. Holy shit.
I don't know if Spencer knows because I guess he does. I don't know.
He's over there, baby. I just want to hit the biddy. I just want to hit the biddy. Retrieve it.
Where's he at? I'm about to point it in history.
He's right there.
Why did you say he and then pointed at me?
He's right behind you.
Who's right behind me? Who is right
No one is right behind you either.
Right behind
Wait,
you.
there, it's blinking, it's blinking.
Oh, back there.
Yeah, you missed it.
Y'all keep missing my blinking lights.
I saw it.
I saw it.
No, I'm talking about the picture. I'm trying to count.
It's 69 degrees over here. Yeah. Like 80.
Let's see that forehead. Let's see where
I'll put it on my computer. Well, now you're, oh, that's me.
Am I a warm body?
You're 75. It's 69 now.
Can you stop moving?
Are you trying to do me?
Oh my god, are they making love in the corner over there?
I don't know, but this man's gonna hear me arguing this. What are you talking about?
How much is too big?
Oh my god.
Wait, what?
Shut up.
What are you talking about?
What? What are you what's, I'm confused.
What? Where?
What the fuck is you?
Okay. You see anything?
Sweet.
What?
You can see which car was recently on. Not this one. Not any of these. Oh wait.
68. What did yours say? What does it say? Oh, 74. Okay, well that's fine.
That's what my car. Said.
Okay, we switched. I had the camera.
Okay. Anything weird going on that I need to know about?
Can I switch with
It
you?
was.
And then
Only for a little bit. Not the whole time. I swear to God, no.
Oh, really?
No, I'm not holding it.
suddenly,
Plus, you know my
I'm
hands
not
are
getting much out of mine.
Huh?
You know my hands are
Cody
shaky.
and
I don't see anything. I don't know what I'm
they're not
looking
getting
for.
there.
You're the one who's trained in there.
Are you guys seeing anything weird temperature-wise?
Not. I mean, it goes down to like the 60s, pretty much.
We're gonna have some mud in here
But-
too, so it's probably in that
Yeah,
mud.
I say I think it's just cold.
Yeah. So mud is gonna be colder than asphalt gravel. See where I'm going? So let me follow up with the window. I'm trying to see the record. It's just weird. This place is literally only let me down like 4 times a year. So the fact that I'm not getting much, that is. You guys don't have to swear.
So there's a whole bunch of things with this car.
Where?
Oh, there's 4 black things.
No.
Big black things. Those not the cars? There's 4 cars.
Yeah, I guess that would be the car.
And then over here, there's a big group of them. Yeah, there's the black car.
That's one.
Is there?
He's nuts.
Connor, I don't know what I'm looking for.
Wait, put it on the ground.
Oh my god.
And then it says, it's 81 degrees right there.
I know, but
It's right here, it says it's 76
so it's
degrees.
normal. But what I'm saying is, that's good.
91.
91. Okay, but what am I looking for as in ghost-wise? What looks like a ghost?
The cold temperature. So the black and the blue.
So all of that's a ghost?
No.
Well then, what do you
It's
mean?
cold.
Well then, how am I gonna know the difference?
I know it looked like it did in that video.
I
Like a
don't believe
head.
that. No, it's not always gonna look like a head.
So I'm going to give them a few more minutes with like the recordable and all of that. But we're going to actually use my spirit box since you guys don't have one here as a group, and kind of see, like, give you guys a gist of how I normally do this instead of listening for the audio tomorrow morning. So I usually go out to Charles because they're attacking Eliza right now. So Charles, if you're actually here, I want you to put your name on the box in my screen. My name keeps popping up too. Charles, I need you to put your name on the screen for me, on the box with the blue lights. Rebecca. So, I have literally had a Rebecca on my tour for the past 3 nights. Every one of them with a different spelling. That one only has 1 C, as you can see. I think that was last night, which is just weird. I actually have to text her to tell her name popped up. Charles, we need a name. Put your name on the screen for me. find you a hot spot where it's going to spike up a little bit. Like, they're literally getting nothing, which is, I'm like, astonished.
Oh. They went off for a second.
Alright, that's better. Let's try to use that as a communication then. I mean, I'll leave this running, but I use this guy too because it literally has to get closer in order for it to make it go off. So Charles or Eliza, whoever's here, get closer to this device with all the lights and make it stay on red for a second. All you gotta do is step closer to it. It's better. A little bit more red. There you go. Thank you. Now, let's have you step away from it. You step away from it, the lights go away, just like I did. You're all in my direction. You step away and the lights will go to green. That'll also show us that you're actually here. Step away. I heard ironic. Trying to do something. They're obviously not going to follow directions. You guys haven't seen anything goofy on there at all?
Not really.
Again, I use that blinking light as kind of a barometer. If it's a strobe light, it's going to be a great night. But the fact that I walked in here on this tour and it wasn't on, neighboring, that doesn't make any sense either. Alright, let me get the other spirit boxes wrapped up. I don't want to waste any more time here since nothing's going to happen. I mean, you could have stuff on the recordings, we just don't know. But you guys need live action kind of stuff.
Yeah, where is he? Why is he so close to us? If I was gonna go for my family right now, Carrie would be crying already.
Really?
Yeah, she probably never goes for him. I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm scared he's there's always, everyone's recording it.
Okay.
What if he
So,
keeps asking?
I'm going to call this space dead for now. I'll definitely have to listen to their spirit box in the morning to see what actually came up here. But I did get the word blue on the way in here, which does make sense. They didn't hear anything either besides AC/DC's Thunderstruck. So, here's the answers to the questions that I told you guys to ask. Eliza's maiden name, Lucas. Eliza Lucas Pinckney. There's tons of books written about that woman because she did way more than what I told you tonight. The previous wife, Eliza Lamb Pinckney. So, different story altogether with her. The house caught fire in that corner, second floor. That's why I took them up there, because that's usually a hot spot too. What else? Eliza died at the age of 70 from breast cancer in Philadelphia, and that's also where she's buried. Okay, so the husband is buried here in Charleston, she's buried in Philadelphia. The daughter's name, Harriet. So I will tell you, I should have put this together. The last tour, there was an infant son that didn't make it. He was only a few weeks old. His name was Thomas. I did get the word cried that showed up on my spirit box when I was with my last team, and then I said, Eliza, what are you crying about? And the word son came through really strong. So usually when that happens and she's kind of teary-eyed and doesn't want to talk about Thomas, all activity stops. So that's making sense to me now. Usually if somebody says, did any of your kids die? Then usually everything stops. But this happened to be, she brought it up, and now our activity has stopped. But again, it doesn't mean there's nothing here. It just means I have to listen a little bit more intently to this location. So, I'm going to move us on to the next stop, which is at Lodge Alley. It's about 4 blocks up East Bay Street. It's definitely a no laser zone. Spirit boxes, if you're going to listen along the way, listen for names. I'll explain when we get there. So any names you hear is probably going to be relevant. Obviously keep filming. Definitely take as many pictures as you want. We're going to be passing the customs house, the open air market. You have the camera now, right? Okay, so take as many pictures as you want. When we get to Lodge Alley, I'm going to ask that you come up front so that way we can get some pictures down the alley while it's empty before we all walk down. What else do we have going on? I think that's about it. It's definitely a mask area. People are going to be eating outside. If you smoke, by the way, by all means do so. Obviously, I vape. And if that bothers anybody, you can speak up. I'm not offended. Because I will vape to not have to wear a mask. But let's go on to the next spot. Sorry this place was dead, but again, I can't guarantee what's going to happen here. So Let's go see what else we can find. What does that mean? Anybody know what recuse means?
Recuse?
Recuse? I've never even heard of that. Recuse? Somebody want to Google that for me? That has like maybe a laser or something? That's not going to be super active right now? Get me a definition. Maybe it makes sense.
I'll look it up. Recuse means like to excuse yourself. Like I recuse myself. And it's like, and also you can be like a challenging like a judge. Or like a juror. It's like a court, it's a legal term. I knew that word I should know.
You're the Eliza, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about when I said we had stuff for you. All kinds of Elizas hanging out. Maybe you scared her off.
I honestly might. That customs building,
Yeah.
was it once, did it have like a jail or like a, is it the place that had like a dungeon in the bottom?
No, that's up the street.
that-
That's,
okay.
Yeah, that's the old Provost.
Oh, okay, yes. I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah, probably one of the most haunted places we have.
It's like where all the pirates died, right?
There's all kinds of death that occurred in there. It's funny you bring that up because I just got interviewed for an investigation that I did there by another podcaster that was going to be featuring my podcast
Oh,
on
fun.
his. So that was really cool of him to call me because he's got a big following. And he's another tour guide in town too, so we talked quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
But it's an interesting place, for sure.
Okay.
There's a lot that has happened in that building. It has passed hands, I want to say like 6 times,
Oh, wow.
different government hands. It has a piece of the old wall in there still. It's really cool.
Cool.
The tour guides, when they take you into the dungeon, like do it dressed in period times.
Okay.
So it's a lot of fun down there. Wow, haven't heard this in a long time. Sorry it took so long getting back to you guys too. I'm usually like right there at like 10 till.
That's alright.
security guard here.
Was the year 1829 when you were there?
1829?
Uh-huh.
Not to my knowledge.
That's the first time that word was ever used.
What's that?
Recluse.
Really?
Oh yeah, I screenshotted the definition.
It says the first known use of that word was 1829.
So what I'm probably going to do to research that is I'm just going to put Charles Pinkton's name in there because he was a political...
I'm trying to take a picture.
Let's get yourself.
Yeah.
Am I seeing anything? That's growing a warmness.
Hey, we get it, bro. You're a photographer.
Oh goodness.
I'll figure it out because it could have been the sun.
Camera drop it.
There's got to be something there. All right, we get some pictures down there.
Oh, we got that one.
There's an on button and a shoot button.
Yeah.
You always want to take two down here, so I have something to compare it by.
Okay.
All right, everybody good in the shoes they have on? It's a little wobbly down here.
I know what's gonna. Is that what we're eating?
Yeah, I was like,
It's so cold.
Alright, I'm lining you guys up along the wall over here. I'll tell you what's going on.
It's got me diving into that word now too. All right, so welcome to Lodge Alley, guys. This is one of the oldest streets in
Just not
Charleston.
your-
Did you guys listen to the spirit boxes? Did you guys listen to the spirit boxes? Did you hear any names?
Mike?
Mike. What about you guys? Nothing on yours? All right, so the reason why I asked for names is because people actually used to live down here. These two buildings that we're leaning on, they weren't here. They were actually shotgun houses. So I have the full list of every resident that's ever lived out here. So the names Benjamin and John usually show up often together because those two gentlemen lived here in 1801 at the same time. There was only, I think, 4 residents during this at that time. So I usually listen. Ben shows up quite often. With pictures, I usually get a bunch of green orbs that show up in all of these pictures that we take. It's not every single night, but when they do show up, I can't debunk. I can't even figure out where it possibly is coming from. I brought my wife down here trying to figure it out because it's never in the same spot. I've had people send me videos of a green orb moving, and the pictures, they actually just show up. I never know where it's coming from. Colored orbs actually have meaning. Green, I want to say, is something very peaceful. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head because I did got the name Kathy, which could be a Catherine. Got a little, there's somebody taking a break over there. Looks like
Wait,
a
what's
restaurant.
that, Catherine?
What's that?
What's that, Catherine?
I actually got the name Kathy, but with a C.
Oh.
But it could be Catherine on the list of residences.
Oh.
So I wish you guys also, again, Peninsula's much skinnier. Those buildings down there would have never been here. So low tide, this is not a very good place to stay. These people were low class. They found that by some of their artifacts that they found in between these bricks. Some of their silverware, their tools, little pieces of their clothing. They know that these people were lower class. This is also where the Masons used to meet. So they're steamy, kind of sweaty nights. The Masons are down here in suits and suspenders, kind of talking business. So this is a weird place. I get a lot of shadows. I get a lot of orbs. Spirit box names come through. And again, it's not uncommon for me to just get names, and that's it. Could be people that they were friends with, other family that live somewhere else. I just can't verify because it's not a census list. I can't do a historical tree. So we're going to walk through this alley. We're going to kind of check it out. We're going to get lots of pictures from Ansley. Make sure we get a nice slow view side to side with the thermal imaging because I have had cold spots just kind of wisp away out of nowhere. Weird stuff happens here, guys. It's a cool place. Not to mention these bricks. These are original. So we're talking early 1700s. They're clay. They were handmade. None of them are the same size or shape. Not to mention they're not spaced properly. So if you notice by the center of it, this is from all the flooding that we get. That's why it dips down in the center, because the sewer line's right there. The water's got to go somewhere. So it's kind of why it's shaped the way that it is. All right. I'm really surprised we haven't gotten anything. That's a bummer about the Pinckney Mansion site, guys. And I hate to disappoint, because that's a great spot. But again, when I look at the clues from the whole night, it makes sense. So, questions, comments, concerns? Do you actually have something? Where's your cell phone? I'm gonna guess it's in your pocket. It's back there, really?
Yeah, I got a paper phone and
'Cause, I mean, you might have. It's pretty steady. Like I would call that a rhythm because it's staying put. Might be something that's from the hotel rooms. Because I mean, we are usually like right down the center. We get absolutely nothing. If something does happen, it's pretty exciting. Not to say that it's never happened. It's rare. So, you guys ready to go learn some more stuff? I know this is a weird alley, but listen for names. Go ahead and turn your spirit boxes up. Let's see what we can capture down here.
For Freemasons? Ooh.
This is a great picture spot for the steeple. It's a little touristy, not so much ghosty, but if you stand off to the right, you get a full, the temple goes right into the center of the picture. Sorry, wife's a photographer. I like to direct. She teaches me a lot of stuff. That's still on the I don't like blurry pictures. They're hard to analyze.
So small. Thank you. So the Freemasons would meet down here?
Yeah.
Cool.
Where's your point of that?
I just got so sorry. I wonder if Eliza's hanging out with me, apologizing for the week.
Yeah. Alright.
Did you guys get anything down there? Okay. This means I have to listen a little bit more intently. That's what's so great about the timestamps, and it doesn't record anything outside. I love that device. That box is great. Let's head this way. So we're about to go into Philadelphia Alley. Now I usually tell the stories out here because that's a pretty popular ghost stop for the other ghost stories. I don't hear any right now, but I don't like to be interrupted 10 times, so I tell it here before we walk in. They make it a big dramatic performance because that's their grand finale. I think I kind of just ready to avoid them. My last tour I was like screaming over the other guy because he was trying to do a big scare tactic with it. So the story is pretty simple. I'm giving you a lot of things that you can be listening for on your spirit boxes along the way, so kind of listen up. There was a doctor, Joseph Brown Ladd. He moved down here from Rhode Island. And everybody's kind of keep those initials in mind from Rhode Island, R.I., because it comes up again later. So he's supposed to get married to his fiancee, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. The attorney that was handling that money said, "You're not getting married. Send the doctor away. I think he's just after your money." So the doctor moves here. The coachman that brings him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. Not a very good start. Somebody walking by named Ralph Isaacs, initials R.I., says, "You don't want to stay here." The initials come up often, by the way, with our spirit boxes. That's why I bring it up. So, he says, "You don't want to stay here." He takes him over to 59 Church Street. It's about a mile and a half from here. The two become friends. The doctor, his practice starts going in the right direction. He's making lots of money, he has lots of patients. Amanda's going to be moving down soon. He's made his point. He becomes known as the whistling doctor because he whistled all the time. Pretty happy guy. You can Google the whistling doctor and get a very detailed story. I'm going to give you the short and skinny. So him and Ralph become friends. They go see plays together, but because the doctor is in a different part of society, they have to sit in different seats. It's kind of like going to the movies with your friends, but they make more money than you, so they have better seats. Sucks, right? So you got to talk about the movie on the way home, which is exactly what they did. They talked about the play on the way home. They go see Richard III, and the rumor has it it's at Dock Street Theater. I can't confirm that, but anyway, they're talking about it. The doctor loves the new actress. Ralph does not. It turns into an insult party on the doctor's fiance back home. They obviously get pretty pissed off at each other, and they go their separate ways. Now Ralph, he's from here, so he has ties to the newspaper. So he calls up the paper and puts an ad in there and says what a disgrace the doctor is. He takes all of our money, he's not from here, yada yada yada. The doctor rebuttals with, "Let's finish this in Jeweler's Alley," which is what the name of this alley was before Philadelphia Alley. So they come down here, take the 20 paces, they turn. Hang on. What normally happens to somebody in a duel? Somebody dies, right? Somebody's not making it out alive. Normally, the loser, there's a doorway on the other half of this alley. You can see the top of the doorway from here. I call it the death gate. The loser would normally be picked up by the onlookers, taken through that courtyard, and then over to St. Philip's Cemetery. They drop them in a pre-dug grave, and then they go celebrate the winner. It's very quick. So, here's what happened. Come down here, turn, the doctor points his gun in the air and he shoots. He did not want to kill his friend. However, Ralph takes 2 shots below the knees on the doctor. The doctor drops, his friends pick him up, they take him home, 59 Church Street. He dies 10 days later. Now, why am I telling you this story? There's a moral. You shouldn't get engaged to a woman named Amanda. You're going to get shot. No, I'm kidding. So, they say as you walk through the alley, you can hear the doctor's whistles. We have a lot of hecklers in town. People that live down here all know the story, so they like to walk by and give us the fake whistle. I just gave you a fake one for your audio. When you guys are listening to this on your drive or airplane ride home, turn it up. This is where you're really going to hear the faint whistle in the background. I caught it twice where I couldn't debunk that it was a heckler. Okay, so it's up to you to actually find it because I won't always listen to your full audio. So, another little tidbit about, they also say you can hear gunshots, but I haven't caught that yet. Somebody on the 4th of July wanted me to try to find gunshots among all the fireworks. That didn't happen. The bricks we're going to walk on, they're going to get older as we get to the end. These up here that we're going to start off on, did you guys all hear that too? You guys all turn? Okay. So there's somebody in there. Their truck is still here. They work here. I don't know what this business is, but they work here. They bring their dog out all the time. His name's Hero. He's a lovable little beast. But anyway, these up here were refreshed and renewed in the 1990s. The bricks are very sharp. They're very flat. You can see that they were redone. As we get to the end, we have sun-dried bricks from slave kids. We still have their fingerprints in there, and we have 1 full handprint. So when you look at it, the thumbprint actually overlays into the next brick, which means that kid put that brick in wet and then slammed his hand into it like a screw you, I don't want to do this anymore. So if you guys are going to take pictures of it, you got to be swift because right next to it is somebody's house. It's also where we're going to turn our spirit boxes down to very audible levels only. I'm going to stay away from the spirit boxes just so you guys can have a nice clear audio. So I will kind of lead the way ahead of time. I'll stay ahead. If you guys want to check out the death gate, as I call it, we're going to go through this gate. You're going to make a right to look at the death gate if you want. I'm going to go to the left and go down and kind of meet you guys at the end and point out what some of those fingerprints and that full handprint is. Just a little nugget of history that we all should see. It's a reminder of how far we've come. It's a big deal. Those handprints are actually in 3 different places in Charleston. This is one of those 3 places. So if you Google handprints Charleston, I think it'll tell you Drayton Hall and I can't remember the other ones. But they're in 3 different spots if you're going to go travel. So, am I boring you all to death? You guys are so quiet. It does freak me out a little bit. I'm like, man, they must be bored. But yeah, we're going to check this place out and see if I get anything along the way. Roseline. Is that a thing? Where's my Googler? Which one of you guys was Googling stuff? Rose line. See if that's a phrase for something.
Rose line?
Yeah, rose line. Almost like clothesline, but rose line. That's just a weird thing. I hear a group that's still down there. Spirit boxes will stay pretty low, masks up for sure. I'll try to cut through them quickly. You guys should do the same thing. They don't really like me much as it is because I take all their business. So they're not as cool as us. They don't have gadgets to prove things. Oh, look at that. We're talking about people and I got the word value. Look at that. I'm a weird jokester. My wife says I have the weirdest sense of humor she's ever seen.
You should say that alone.
Alright.
I said you should.
Nice creepy sound effect for your audio. You ready? We'll take it.
Good luck for it. Okay.
I get the word experience. That's one of the words in my slogan, an interactive ghost hunting experience. Yeah, if you guys want to check out the gate, it's right up there.
The desk.
Hello.
I don't like the.
Wait, Spencer, do you see that over there?
What?
What? I can't do it. I was gonna try and scare you, but I was gonna be embarrassed.
Bro, if I dropped this on the other side of the wall,
I was gonna go, I'm the coochie man. Get off me.
Anything look abnormal to you? Dude, the back, my lower back makes you pop so bad. It hurts. Huh? Do you have it?
Sorry.
I am too.
That looks like a thing.
It is.
I really want to do it. It's like
You already did it. Mine's a 91 though.
I thought you were someone I didn't know.
Hello. Okay, let's just go through that.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Excuse me.
So anyway, he's just a dueling, screwing machine. And he had
Try to name it after a city that saved us from one of our many fires in Philadelphia. You can get a great shot of the flag with these people in the background. Just giving you guys that forest and stuff. I'll make it well rounded.
Is that the birds? Or is it on the ground?
I keep feeling my earrings and it's scaring me. That was pretty good.
Bro, I want this thing to go off.
Connor, point it that way. Where are those little white thingies? No. Maybe. Oh, that's what I'm saying.
That's right.
I didn't hear what you said. Yeah. Yeah.
Some of the finger swipes starting here, and they're going to be all the way through here. So just kind of keep your nose, eyes down, and I'll point out the handprint. But there's the start of where the fingerprints start. So I'll keep pointing them out. They're all through here. This area.
Weird.
Swipes there. Like I said, they're all through here. And your handprint's right here. See how their thumb lays over?
Oh yeah.
Again, that kid was like, screw you, I'm done. I ain't doing this no more. That's my story.
Maybe sometimes they do, but that person's not allowed to work.
I don't know, Robbie goes around this corner. Sorry, I'm trying to text that person that has my other phone.
You put my phone up? Mm-hmm. I got literally.
Yeah.
What now?
Not any stories out here.
Because if you combine the two restaurant, it comes up under English names.
The name Lime, like, could be a last name. I'll dive in. Like I said, I'll have to do an extensive search to try to find something. We're getting a lot of weird terms tonight. So just feel like a lot of things like are relatable to what I do for a living. I got value, experience, and then prove, case. So it's kind of like everything's wrapped around my job.
But the proof case goes to recuse.
Yeah. I kind of try to keep everything to the location we're at. So that word proof just came up in Philadelphia Alley. Recuse came up over at the Pinckney Mansion site. So I try to relate it. I mean, sometimes I'll get that extended over if we, are moving pretty quick. But so we're going to take a look at one more building, guys. This is the Wagner building. The Wagner building used to be part of our cotton industry. It was a cotton warehouse in the back. I'm talking about the big brick building that's catty corner. So, and the offices were in the front. So the last person who had it as a cotton warehouse, his name was George Poirier. Now George inherited this business from his dad. He had no idea what he was doing. He was clueless. Got himself into a bunch of debt, and he blew through his inheritance pretty quickly. So we also had the boll weevil in town. That's a bug that eats cotton. So now he's really screwed. What's he do? He sells all the cotton to the British. Again, the water's that way, much closer. He watches the ship roll in, horse and buggy unload all the cotton out to the ship. He's watching the whole thing. once it's loaded, somebody gets too close to it with a pipe. The whole ship catches fire. Everybody dies. George watches the whole thing. He's already depressed because his dad is gone. He doesn't have enough money to pay off his American debts with British bills, and now his father's legacy's gone. He piles up all the furniture, puts a captain's chair on top, climbs the mountain of furniture, swings a noose, and hangs himself. Now, they say you can see the shadow of a swinging corpse along that third-story window. All of the data that I've collected tells me it's the number 2. So I always look at the second story, and that's where I've also gotten all of my... I got the name Samantha. I'm telling you, you guys are getting a weird... This is a weird night for you guys. The last group was awesome. Like, everything was popping up. And then for you guys, this is just odd. I'm going to have to dive into a lot of stuff. Maybe he had a girlfriend. I don't know. But anyway, they say you can see the shadow of a swinging corpse. Keep in mind, again, our camera cannot see through glass. So we're looking for those blue windows to turn a darker blue or black, which means something is influencing it from the inside. Does that make sense to everybody? So it's not going to be able to show us the swinging dead guy. Yeah, the big brick building. It's condos now in the back, and then they're turning it into a wedding reception area in the front. And this place can't hold a business because it's cursed. Every business that's been through there has pretty much died because of too many hauntings. They left town. They're not dealing with it. I also get another ghost that tags along. Where we came out of Philadelphia Alley up this ways, 2 blocks, is Pugin's Porch. Pugin's Porch is one of our most haunted locations. It used to be the home of Zoe Saint Amand. She has a French descent. That's why her name is Saint Amand. And she lived there with her sister Elizabeth. Now Zoe was a school teacher, so the words teach come up often, and her name shows up often, spelled Z-O-E. I also constantly ask her, what does your house look like now? She's not going to say restaurant. It's usually a lot to say. It's usually 8. Table, food, spoon, fork. Those kind of very simple things are going to pop up on your spirit boxes. So you're looking for fire, cotton, ship, those kind of terms with George, and food relative items from the restaurant. Now, it wasn't a restaurant when she lived there. It was her actual house. She died in the house by falling down the stairs. So there's a hotel across the street from there that's constantly calling the police that will come and say there's something going on inside Pugin's Porch, the lights are flickering, and whatever else. Happens all the time. So, and it was also around the same time period, so it makes sense that I'll get George or Zoe or sometimes both. This location is usually my hit or miss. I never know what's going to happen. So, who has the thermal gun? So we're going to test the theory when we get to the front. It's a little breezy tonight, but everybody see the peak at the back of the building? The same peak is in the front, but it's covered in stone. There's the same type of stone inlaid into the brick about 5 feet below it. I like to get the temperature from both because sometimes there's a 30-degree difference. It's a little breezy tonight. I'm expecting about 18 to 22 degrees. So if it goes up above 25, I'll get excited. The highest I've seen it is about 31 on a nice no-breeze night. I expect the breeze from the water to bring it at least 7 to 12 on a no-breeze night. But when I get it to 30, that's crazy. So we're going to see. We hopefully, fingers crossed, we get somebody coming through on your spirit boxes. And we'll see. Lasers, it's a no-go for lasers aside from yours because we're going to test that. EMF is going to go crazy when you get to the front because of the parking meters. So don't get excited there. Pictures, we definitely want, Rosie Hensley, pictures of the second story when we get to the front for sure. Get us lots of those. I don't care how dark they are, I lighten them up for you so we can see if we can see the shadows. Alright. Fingers crossed. Cody, I'm trying to convince you, man. I'm trying. The pink dimensions, that's usually my sinker. Like I normally have it by then. We're going to trust that. Maybe. I don't think you found the gas pedal yet. It's crazy down there. nice slow sweeps from you. It actually occurred right here on this corner. So just kind of get me some pictures, Ansley, of these 3 windows, the one around that corner up there, and then these 2 first ones. As far as your gun goes, I want you to point it all the way up to the stone at the top. Do you see where I'm talking? The very peak? Yep, all the way up. Get your gun up there and get the red dot, I'll direct you. Keep going, right there, perfect. What do you got?
It says, shit, hold on. 48, 43.7.
Okay, go down to the half moon. Oh, you guys are awesome. Sorry. I know, that was my bad. I had 3 people talking.
Sorry, it was my bad. Thanks, great. Well, sure, you guys have a good time. We saw 3 ghosts.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And he was my skeptic on the last tour.
So wait, what are these windows supposed to look like?
Alright, what was the half moon?
Oh wait, no, the half moon.
Right there,
Yeah.
yep.
65.
And you had what before? 43?
48?
So
What was
about,
it before?
I said what? About 18 to 22 is what I was guessing. So that makes sense. So that's about average. And I didn't hear anything on my spirit box either. So, see how your EMF's going off? It was, because the ley lines for the parking meters are underneath.
It's a fire hydrant.
Alright, where's my spirit box, people? Did you hear anything? Okay, this is a weird thing. Nothing on yours either? I got the word English that came through and I put an audio marker on it for you. Again, she was French. So, she was talking about British.
British. I'm a lot and I'm British.
I'm a wee bit British.
I'm a wee bit British.
They serve breakfast and lunch there. That's what they serve. So I'm going to let those run for a few more minutes. See if you guys hear anything like the rest of this stuff. I'll get everybody back to wherever they need to go. So I'm just exclusive about the KP Mansion site. That's usually my hook, line, and sinker. All right, let's start gathering up all most of your guys. Did you get me some good pictures? Questions or concerns? If anything, you guys learned a lot of history and weird times. Yeah, fingers crossed that
We're not going to follow you.
So, all right, guys. Let me gather up your stuff. Are we still on one video? Did we have to tap it?